Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today we would have a look at the datamine for the summer event vehicles. Obviously the summer event starts next week, the summer quest event, and after having a look at everything, I think it generally is an improvement on the last set of stuff. But we'll have to see when the event comes out, how tough it is, how long it's going to take. I was thinking about doing a critique video on it, maybe I'll do that on Monday. But we'll see. There are a few points that I do want to bring up. Hopefully some things that would be nice to see, such as drop rates for the boxes and everything, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, in this video, we're going to go over the preliminary stats of the summer event vehicles, plus some extra additional stuff which is happening when it comes to War Thunder. The F4D1 is going to be coming in at rank 6 as we knew, but also it's going to be 9.3 to start with. Now this probably gives it one of the better chances when it comes to the game. It might go down in BR, it might go up, but when I look at the F4D1 it does seem a lot more like the Demon than other vehicles. So putting it at 9.3 should be quite nice. The only issue with putting it at 9.3 is obviously 10.0 and 10.3 are very strong right now. But then again, if it gets downticked a lot into 8.7 or 8.3, it should clean up pretty well. The vehicle has access to the 420mm Mark 12s, as we talked about before. It only has 65 rounds per gun though, so you're going to have to be pretty accurate with them, which is quite easy to do, since they've got quite a high muzzle velocity and they work pretty well. Also, at the same time, it does get some stock AIM-9Bs. So they're giving it the standard setup, so 2 stock AIM-9Bs, and then once you get the modification for the AIM-9Bs, you can bring a total of 4 AIM-9Bs, 2 on the center pylon and 2 on the outer pylons. So when it comes to other options as well, it can carry a bunch of rockets, up to 114 it can bring along, and also the machine does have CCIP for its rockets, which is really nice. The only issue on top of that is it doesn't carry any bombs or anything, so you're limited to rockets in the ground attack role, which should be okay with the CCIP, but, you know, some people prefer some other stuff, some people prefer, you know, some different things when it comes to CAS. Something to also mention is the special skin is pretty cool on this thing. It is actually the standard camouflage with the insignia of the VFAW3 Blue Nemesis of the US Navy, which will be really nice. It also has access to the ANAPQ-50 radar, so that's what it's going to use. We'll have to see how effective it is and if it gets the new additions that they're adding to radars at the same time. Another thing to also note about it is an event vehicle, but it's actually got pretty high multipliers on it when it comes to SL. Its RB SL multiplier is 3.05, but also its stock repair cost in RB, which I'm pretty sure is going to change, is 15,000, which seems very high as well. I understand that a lot of jets have some pretty high stock repair costs, but that is kind of outlandish when it comes to an event vehicle, so overall a little bit odd. I think this thing will be fun. They're giving it a chance to succeed at 9.3, and hopefully people enjoy it. This is probably the vehicle I'm looking forward to the most, just because it's a beautiful vehicle, and overall, you know, the US aircraft are generally pretty fun to play. The Leopard 2AV comes in at 9.7 when it comes to rank 6 for the German tech tree. It also has a pretty low stock repair cost of 5,000 with the SL multiplier of 1.35 in realistic. The special skin is going to be a tricolor with the insignia of the Bundeswehr, so overall it'll be quite nice. And also its gun is the 105mm L7A3, which is the exact same as the L7A3 that we already have in the game. It has the same reload and also gets the DM33 APF SDS. I'm kind of surprised how people think this isn't as good as the 120 DM23, which the Leopard 2A4 has. The Leopard 2A4, if you have a look at its standard penetration on the DM23, with comparing it to the DM33 on the 105, they're basically the same. So the only thing that is different is you get a little bit less spalling with the 105 compared to the 120, but you'll be able to pen stuff pretty effectively. So this thing will have pretty much the same punching power as the Leopard 2K, and it'll have the same punching power as the Leopard 2A4, which also is slightly higher BR. It will get the DM12 HeatFS stock though, so you will have to struggle with that round. It does get the DM23 APFSDS though, so that'll be a rank 1 APFSDS, which will help you going through. It doesn't have access to thermals, it only has Gen 1 NVDs, so that's the big difference between it and the 2A4. The other thing as well is they're still messing around with its armor, so I don't really want to go through it too much, because it started off with the same armor as the 2A4, and now they've completely changed it since then, today. And they've added physical tracks, and they've pretty much changed all of the different armor values. So if you want to have a look at them, they're in the second link for the Datamine, but just understand this stuff is massively subject to change, and will change, because one of the things is the fact that on the hull side, it doesn't have any armor right now. So they're obviously going to change that. So this is something which is being progressively altered. So there's not really much point in talking about it, because it's obviously going to change in the next few days. The Haruna is also in, the Japanese battleship. It's going to be at 6'7", rank 5. No surprise there, really, because of its firepower and also its general battleshipness. It was either going to be 6'3" or 6'7", and I think putting it 6'7" makes the most sense, since it's the contemporary to the Congo, which is one of the strongest vehicles in the game. It does have a high stock repair cost, but it's a battleship, so they're very hard to kill. So not too surprising that it's so high. And the special skin is a deforming pattern for the Japanese Navy, which we saw in the dev blog, which is actually quite nice. The differences between it and the Congo, which we already have in game. So the Haruna has a smoke screen, it has higher bridge HP and main turret HP, but lower engine room HP and transmission HP. Has a higher fire director HP and superstructure HP, and also fuel tank HP. It has 5 more crew, a higher max speed, and also different gun limits. It also has 18 more 25s, and the 25mm max aim distance is 7k versus 4.5. So overall it should be slightly better at the AA. Certain parts of it will be more survivable than others, but generally the main issue with the Haruna is going to be the fact that it has a lot less armor than the Congo, and that means that ammo racks on it are going to be a lot easier to do, which is going to be its main issue. The Zrinyi 1 is looking pretty promising. It's going to be a rank 3 battle rating 4.0, and of course it's the only premium out of the bunch, out of the 4 of them. The rest are just standard event vehicles, so you're going to have to grind out the modifications. The Zrinyi will be spaded, and it will also have high multipliers on it, and pretty low repair cost, since it is a premium. Its repair cost in RB is only 690, where its SL multiplier is 2.05, so that'll be really nice for it. Also, at the same time, its armor is looking pretty weak. The superstructure front is 75mm, the front cheek is 50mm, but it is pretty angled, side is 25, and roof is 13. So this thing is not going to be able to stop really anything that shoots at it, unless somebody cocks up a shot on it, which might happen. The gun itself, though, is looking quite promising. It's very similar to the Stugs gun. The 75mm F43M is what it's known as. Basically, when you have a look at the APC-BC that it has, it is very close in how good it is. It pens around 140, 750 meters per second, which is quite nice. So very similar to the APC-BC, which you find on the Stug, just slightly lower values, but it will be really, really nice. It also has access to heat, but only the muzzle velocity of it is 450, so going to be pretty tough. I think the main round to use on this thing will be the APC-BC. It doesn't have ACE-PCR, it doesn't have access to smoke either, which kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, the main round should pen quite a lot, so it'll be able to do what tank destroyers do well. It also has these license copied versions of the Nobelwerfer, has 3 on each side, and they don't have any horizontal allowance though, so you can only go up and down with them. You can only elevate and depress them. They only go from 0 to 10 degrees though, so you're not looking at something that you'll be able to fire at crazy distances. Hopefully at some point when it comes to the vehicle, These can be used effectively. I'm sure I'll see some funny videos where people do stuff with them, kind of like with the Matilda with the mortar. It would be nice to see it with this as well. Also, at the same time, as an interesting little tidbit, the commander can actually act as a secondary gunner, but only for the gun and not for the rockets. So you can still operate the gun with the commander if the gunner has died. So might be one of the lowest BR vehicles with kind of pseudo commander controls when it comes to the game. It also has the same sights as the Stug 3, so 4.71 to 5.02. This is a really powerful sight. It works very well. And then also its max speed is 40 kilometers an hour, and also reverse speed is -11. So it will actually be able to move around the place quite a lot. The gun is looking good. The horizontal limits of the gun are -12 to 10, so you will be able to move it a decent amount, and the vertical limits are -8 to 25, so that's all looking pretty good. I'd say this vehicle is looking quite nice overall as a tank destroyer, and it's part of a lineup for Italy, which is very strong when it comes to its SPGs as well. There's also a few other things which they've added. So they added the event decorations and also the avatar. And one of the cool things is on the Hornet's Nest, there's a bunch of bees which are flying around it. So they're really enjoying these animated decorations, which is fantastic. You know who would love to have an animation, by the way? My naval elephant. If you could just make his trunk move, it would make me the happiest little individual in the world. Don't know why he can't move, especially when other stuff is able to. Just make it just do a little bit of a movement, you know. You don't even have to do like the whole trunk, just do like the little end, the little nose, just so he waves it about. Would be fantastic. There's also a new DMM decoration. This is the 1938 Type 98 Officer Gendato 6. So this is obviously part of their 6th anniversary celebrations. A bunch of people were asking me whether they will be able to get this on the international market. To be honest with you, it's looking like no. Generally, when it comes to the DMM stuff, they kind of keep to themselves. Sometimes there is some Twitch Stop stuff, and if there is, I'll make sure that you are informed on it, because last year, when it came to Twitch Stop stuff, they really dropped the ball on it. But, you know, at least some people got the Chiha Kai, and we'll have to see what goes on next time if they decide to do that. I'll just try my best to keep you informed. They renamed a bunch of vehicles, nothing too crazy. They also renamed a bunch of modifications. Basically, a bunch of German modifications were renamed to their bomb instead of the pylon now. So they were all sorted out. It looks like they're doing a lot of renaming and a lot of catching up, so fixing a lot of little things which you know, probably were on the back burner for a while. Also, the BMP1 modification description was changed to make a bit more sense. The superhero title, the new description, they achieve the maximum level of all specified challenges with the battle awards, so they fixed that now. And then also, they have changed a bunch of decorations to be tagged as fictional, which probably means that they're going to bring in that whole camouflage thing, but for decals as well. No, sorry, for decorations as well. It's probably already in, actually. I just don't know about it. They changed a bunch of stat card images as well, a ton of different ones, such as a bunch of German ones, and also just the Macabre, which is also there as well. So making them all look nicer and making them all just kind of show the vehicle a bit better, taking slightly better screenshots as always. They also added a bit more armor to the IS-100. It has a new 120mm armor on the whole front, in the front of the driver, so basically on the hull of it. So we'll have to see how that generally does. They've also renamed a few more weapons, just like they have also vehicles, and at the same time, they added a missing container data for the F4D1 in a later little update. I'm sure there'll be more updates for these vehicles as we go forward, but this is the base stuff. So overall, it's looking pretty decent for this one. And after having a look at how much it's actually going to be needed to grind these things over the next little thing, I think overall this event's looking pretty nice. I'm hoping that we won't have to deal with some weirdities or oddities when it comes to the decals dropping, and also to do with the SL boxes, but I'm sure there will be some odd stuff here and there. I'll keep you updated as always. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, I really do, and keep yourself safe, and see you next time. I'd just like to thank Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman675, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Jerry Prevolt, Megadino King, Orange Tail, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Uncle Bean, Sem Arslan, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.